Guitar Heroes, Eric Andreas, your Guitar Sage here to show you one very simple, little subtle strumming technique that you can add to your strumming right now, right here, that's going to add a new dynamic and a new bit to your playing. Now, I've done this for years, and it's funny because what one does and what they hear the same another guy do, the same technique, sometimes will make the guy who's doing this already go, well, now what are they doing? And I ran into this myself when I was watching a ukulele player. Actually, it was a song. The song is called "Elephant Gun" by Beirut, and it starts off and it's maybe 4 chords or something like that. But basically, due to the way that this guy is strumming the chords, it sounds like there's some movement happening melodically, even though there's just one chord going on. And I've done this for years in different ways, but when you're doing it yourself, it doesn't come across the same way because you know what you're doing. But to the listener, they're going, wow, what's going on there? It sounds really complicated. So I want to share this with you today, and it's a very subtle little technique. And it can be done on the guitar and in the same exact fashion. So basically, instead of strumming the guitar just straight up all 6 strings at once, which is totally fine when it's needed, right? That's nice and big and full, and when we're going for that sound, that's great. But what happens if we want a more subtle sound, or we want to diversify that sound and bring out some different colors? Well, the way we can do that is by balancing how we strum the low notes as opposed to the high notes. Now, this is not a perfect science, right? This is basically like just kind of leaning more towards some low notes or to some high notes. Country guitar really takes advantage of this type of sound when they're doing like so we got some subtle little notes happening there, but we still have a chord happening the whole time, all right? We got a bass note moving, but we have just a plain C major chord technically for that part. So we're not going to get that complicated, but in essence, I wanted to give you that as an example because I know you've heard something like that before, right? Or just even if we want to simplify it even more, just country western guitar typically will bop back and forth between, say, like the 1 and the 5 of the chord, the 1 and the 5th note of the scale, also you could say, and then the rest of the chords. So like this. You've heard that before, right? And we don't have to be that exact. We don't have to go. But we could just kind of, just a basic idea of trying to go for that note. Now, sometimes you're going to miss it, and as your technique improves, you'll get better at this. But that's kind of what we're borrowing from here, okay? In fact, let's go ahead and use that, and then we'll use the chord progression that I started off with as well. So, for instance, if you wanted to get the hang of this more from like a country western type of feel, the idea is you'd hit a bass note, and you'd hit the rest of your chord. Strumming rhythm doesn't matter. It's whatever you want. But the idea here, so I'm hitting a bass note, or the bass notes. I'm gravitating towards the lower notes. So even if I'm just hitting 3 notes, or 4, I'm not hitting the high ones. Can you hear the difference there? Same chord, but a different way that I'm approaching it. Now I could do downstrokes or upstrokes for the lower note, but we usually will do a downstroke for the lower notes and an upstroke for the higher notes. And so you can hear that we're exploiting different parts of the chord in this regard. So if we wanted to do a country western style, we'd go bass note, chord, and then change the bass note. Now you heard I messed up there. I hit that E twice in a row. So one way that I tried to was another technique that I used to clean that up is I'll bring my thumb over the top of the neck if we're talking 6th string root chords, so like E's, G's, those sorts of chords. And this can be done with the 5th string root as well. But the idea here is when I play the low E, or when I play the low E string, I let it sing out. But when I play the 5th string, the A string, I'll bring my thumb up to mute the 6th string so that if I do hit it by mistake, I still have a nice clean A sounding, or A string. Doesn't matter the chord. Again, in this case here, we're just using an E major. So watch my thumb. For other chords. Usually we're bopping back and forth between the 1 and the 5 of the chord. If you need to know that, you just need to know the major scale. You can find all about the major scale in my free course, YourGuitarSage.com/30. The link for that's below. But essentially you play through the scale 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and that's your 5th note. Easy enough. For whatever chord you're in. If it's in the key of G, you use the G major scale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If you're in E major, use the E major scale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And that's why we're going back and forth between those two notes, okay? Now, I showed you a chord progression in the beginning here that went something like this. Went something like this, I believe. Makes sense? So basically we're doing the same thing. Now, the first time you do this, the first few times that you do this, the first day or so that you do this, it's gonna feel weird. Why? Because everything feels weird at first. It all feels weird, okay? We gotta get used to everything. Remember, there was a time when you couldn't speak and you couldn't poop and you couldn't eat by yourself. It felt very, very awkward. You don't remember those days, but I do, okay? And you were a mess, okay? We all were. We were babies, right? We didn't learn, then we learned, and then we got better. Same thing with guitar. So remember that anything that feels awkward to you on the guitar can not feel awkward if you practice it, okay? My friends, that's all I wanted to show you today, that subtle little technique that will really bring some spice to your strumming. I want to help you with guitar. Please let me know how I can help you. Leave your comments below, hit thumbs up, subscribe, share this video with a friend. We do lots of giveaways, friends. I'm constantly giving stuff away, guitars, and you name it. If it's guitar oriented, we give it away. Thousands and thousands of dollars worth of goodies every single month. Go to YourGuitarSage.com live to join us on a live broadcast where I'm answering your questions. We did one this weekend, and as a matter of fact, gave a Les Paul away. We were on there for nearly 3.5 hours. We gave away almost $3,000 worth of goodies. So we do that all the time. I'm on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram and Snapchat and all those places, and we do all sorts of crazy stuff over there as well. It's not just YouTube. Let me know how I can help you. Check out that free course below. It will change your plan. I'm telling you, don't walk away from it. It's a great course. It's free. It's for you. YourGuitarSage.com/30. As always, friends, be kind to all beings. All beings. Everything wants to live in peace. Everything wants to be treated with respect. It's not rocket science. Just do it. Be kind to all beings. Don't trust the man. You know who the man is. The man. Don't trust him. At least question him. And practice your guitar. You know how to do that, right? See you in the next video.